Hello, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Hi. Welcome to Art Class 4. Sorry, I was getting carried away with the doodles while I was waiting for it to go live. Hope everybody's well this week. It's 7 o'clock. It's Thursday night. It's our favourite time of the week, obviously. You can have a little cheeky drink, glass of wine, whatever, bit of juice, cup of tea. And get involved and spend an hour with me learning how to draw, how to doodle, and how to get some marks down on a paper and hopefully create a little bit of artwork. So I've got a couple of things to mention tonight before we get going. I hope everybody's managed to have a look at my podcast today that went live. It was pretty crazy to hear myself back and quite emotional, actually. It was quite an emotional experience. But if anybody's not heard that, have a look on my Facebook. I've shared it today. It's called We Built This City. If you want to find it anywhere else on any podcast providers, and you can listen back to me, and from there we'll take it, and you can listen and enjoy hopefully hearing my artistic story. So that's one thing to have a look out for. What I'm going to show you now, I'm going to show you a little bit of artwork that I've got coming out tomorrow. You might have seen via my Facebook. I'm launching a big hacienda piece of artwork. So I'm going to give you a very quick preview because nobody's seen this other than a very select few. So firstly, this is what it's printed on, which is a lot of my artwork via my website. You can see is printed on this metallic aluminium laminate. And it's basically a sheet of aluminium that's laminated. And this is the A2 version of my hacienda artwork. And you see the sheen on that. Bring it up to the camera there. It's like a sheet of glass that's printed. It's absolutely beautiful. It's one of the nicest things I've ever had printed. And that is a basic homage to the hacienda. If you are interested in any of that or that history or even collecting my artwork, that is what you get if you get the A2. If you get the bigger version of that, myself and Peter Hook are signing every version that is on the bigger one, the A1. So they go on sale at 10 a.m. in the morning. If you need to know any more information, get in touch with me. Have a look on my Facebook, have a look on the Haciendas, Facebook, Instagram, etc. and follow their link through. And at 10 a.m. in the morning, there will be a queue, I imagine. It will be quite a big thing. So try and get on it. If you want one, get one. And if you don't, ignore me. But that's the quality of the artwork that I'm selling through my website, etc. And this was the one that I did last month. So I'm going to show you this as well. And again, this was printed on the sheet. And then this is how it looks, again, on a sheet of laminate. And that is the Venetian Kiss that we sold literally 15 copies of. And that is every month we're going to do 15 copies of a select piece of artwork. It'll be signed by me. And in the meantime, some of the proceeds will go to support some local charities. So I hope that gives you a bit of an idea of some of the quality of some of the artwork that I'm putting through my website, etc. I don't sell anything rubbish. It has to be top quality. So that's what we've got. And you know, there's plenty of other things. Tonight, we've got something very exciting. After the show, calling it a show, after the class, share on Instagram, follow my Instagram, Justin_Eagleton. Share all your pictures, share them on Facebook, etc. And it's amazing to hear your stories, amazing to see some of the crazy demented pigeons that we had on the week we drew birds that somebody said to me. And some of the stories that go with it of people doing it with families, etc. But tonight, big whoop at the back, there's a prize going past on the conveyor belt. There's a prize for the best drawing tonight, in my eyes. And it doesn't have to be the best, most perfect likeness. It's just the fact I want you to enjoy drawing. Send me a message on Instagram or Facebook. Share it. And I will share all the pictures as I can on my story tonight. So get involved. If I like your picture, I like the sentiment behind it, and I like what you've done, you will get this Manchester map, which is one of my hotel maps. which I've hand drawn, illustrated, etc., which is all sites and little areas around Manchester. So there's your little incentive to be colouring in really well tonight. So get your pencil sharpened. We're going to get off to a good start, hopefully, trying to make it a little easier than last week. We've got our paper. I've got my selection of pencils. I've got my sharpener, I've got my rubber. What we're going to do tonight, let me put another piece of paper over there because I don't want you to be able to see all that rubbish behind. What we're going to do tonight is something dear to my heart, following on from the podcast, and obviously requested by quite a few people, actually. Can we draw a bee? So that's what we're going to have a go at doing. So that's our first task for the class this evening. We're going to break this down again into shapes. We're going to do it very simply. We've got people of all ages on the class, from 10 years old up to 80 years old. My mum does have a go. She's 81. So share your artwork. See how you get on with this. What we're going to do first is break it down into shapes like we've done every other week. So I'm going to find my finest, lightest pencil, which is a H that I'm using. Apologise, I need to sort my fingers out because I bite my fingernails. Ignore that. So what we're going to do is break this down into shapes. And if you have a look, it's basically circles. So we've got a nice big circle there, pretty much a circle there. Obviously his eyes are circles, a little circle there. We've got this big elongated circle. And then it's a case of breaking the shapes down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the bee on screen at all times. So you can draw this at your own pace. Just enjoy drawing it. Do whatever you want. If you want to listen to me and follow me, you can also do that. But at the moment, you just can see that picture and see how you get on with it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it the way I would do it. So straight away, first off, I'm just going to do a straight line that's going to sort of depict, it's going to depict this straight line right down the middle of the spine of the bee. And if there's any scientists watching, I don't really know what half these things are called. It's a thorax and that's a wing. And I know there it's legs, but I'm sure it's got technical words. And then we're going to break this down into 1, 2, let's break it into 3 sections. So this first section, we're just going to go very faint. We'll lose all these lines later, so don't worry about that. So that will be this. Okay. And then we're going to try and work out the length. So if need be, put it alongside. So let's go there. So that's the length of the bee from there to there. We're then going to do this section, which is probably something like that. And then the other one is something like that. And like I say, every single week, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just give your best shot, looking at the scaling. If you want to carry on across like that, and then make a mark, carry across like that and make a mark, you can do that too. If you want, another way is if you do print off something like this, I'll just give you a bit of an idea. If it will show through, it might do. Is you can trace through and just get the outline. You know, trace through, get a piece of paper, trace through the outline of the bee and do it that way. And once you've got an outline, you can then work on the rest. So let's try and get his body in. So width of the bee, we can do that with a pencil. So the width of the bee is there to there, there to there. So something there, something there. Okay. And then we're going to try and just roughly, again, we can change what it looks like to there. And we're going to just sketch up to there. So there's a start. It's not perfect, but it's a start. We've made marks on the paper and that's all we need to do. Now it comes in. So I'm going to continue that curve round. Okay. And look, it's nice and rough. We don't need to worry about how perfectly accurate it is. The next bit is I'm going to just go like this and just visually create that little curve there, which is this little curve here. Okay. And that's that little curve there. And then we'll follow that curve round and follow that curve round. And we should start to be building the shape. Okay, and then this curve here seems to be more an opposite sort of circle. So I'm going to try and just do that and that. And again, artistic license does come in. Every bee on the planet looks different. So I'd imagine every drawing that we've got here going on will look different. So next one is more this sort of shape. So we're going to go out from here, and we're going to go to where we sort of had as the top. So in theory, this big, almost this piece is like, if you can see that, is this sort of shape. And then we've got this bigger one here that goes to a more of a point. But then this top one is split into two, if that makes sense. Okay, so we're going to go with its eyes and this little blob bit at the front. And we're just going to add that in now, just again, roughly. So that I don't know what that is, but we're having it. And then we've got its eyes, which come in here, and his eyes come in this sort of area, and we can sort of curve them. But look, I'm not doing very accurate. I'm just making sure that we've got the lines in, whether they're sketched or not. And then we can, I think they're proboscis. They're some sort of, they've got some technical term. I'm going to go out here. I'm going to do the same over here. I mean, it's pretty symmetrical, to be honest. Pretty symmetrical. If you can draw one side, you should be able to draw the other side. Yeah, we're happy with that. It looks all right. It looks bee-like, and that is all we're trying to do. We're just doing something bee-like and how to break the shape down. And obviously, like I've said lots of weeks, do the easy parts first, the bits that you think you can do first, and work back. Don't go, well, that's the hardest bit. I'm going to start there. So I'm going to do this bit, which is going up at a slight angle. Yeah. We're not putting any meat on the bone, so to speak. And the leg almost goes in line with this leg. So let's use that as a bit of a guide. And we're going to go up, and we're going to go somewhere there. And we can work out the length of it later. Okay, now we know that's there. We know that if we go across to here in a line, then its other leg should be there. And if you want to be dead accurate, go across from that corner to there, and that gives you the knee on the other side. And then again, just stick a line up that way very quickly. Next, let's get his bottom legs in, because his bottom legs are quite easy, because we know they're at this joint, which is this joint. So we know this leg comes out here. Again, no meat on the bones at this point. If they've got bones, I don't know what they've got inside them. Honey, mainly. And his legs obviously go a lot further than the bottom of his body. So let's just go down and add a bit of artistic license to that. Again, this side. We come out at the side just enough. We're going to go slightly in, slightly down. Yeah. Now this leg on this side I've made more straight, and this side I've kinked in a bit. That's because I prefer drawing on the right hand side of pictures. And there's my honest, it's my honest opinion. So we need to try and curve that one in there out. It's a weird thing that I never thought about that actually, about being able to draw better on one side of a picture than another. Right, so now we've got top legs are in, bottom legs are in. These legs can go in last because they're underneath the wings. So what we now need to do, is the wings join in this sort of point here. So let's go for the wing there. And we go in up, up, up at that slight angle there if we followed that line through. So I'm just going to do what I can see there. I'm going to follow that line up there. Don't matter how long it is, because it's going to go on forever. Okay. Now the bottom of the wing is not much further down. So I'm going to go from there. I'm just going to guess what I think. We're going to go to this point here. We're just going to go down there. Yep. Now we've just got to decide now how wide the wing is. That is the only measurement you need now to be able to continue this. So what I'm going to do is with a pencil, because I've not got a ruler with me. And I showed you this last week. Go from the point of the pencil, which is obviously this end. Yep. Put that where the end of the measurement is. And if you put your finger there, then that that little section of pencil is how wide the wing is. So if you just pinch it like that, go to your picture, go from the pointer there, pinch it there, and you can see that the wings should be about that long. So if we then, we do a straight line down, because it's not going to be any bigger. And then what we need to do then is just curve the wing. Curve the wing around that end, bring it in, and then this is your artistic license. Now do what you feel is right for the shape of the wing. So you're coming in, out, in, the bottom bit's wider. So I'm going to go there to the short one. I'm going to go up here. Yeah, and in. And like I say, don't worry if it doesn't look perfect. It doesn't matter. What matters is you're enjoying trying to think about something different. You're drawing, you're learning how to draw, you're learning how to make marks on paper, you know. And I'll go back to my podcast today. I didn't realise until you actually talk about things like that, that how important it is for me personally to make art on paper and how to help people with things like this. So this curve here I'm going to put in now, because I quite like that one, because it goes and does mean something. That goes to there-ish. And I'm going to go from there and I'm just going to curve it. Yeah. And then up to you where you put these are the veins within. I'm going to make a few marks here. And there's a few more random ones. I'm literally just going to make these up. We don't need to be perfect. So let's go there and let's go there. So that's that bottom. The bottom one's done. Top one. The urge to say top one, nice one, then was massive. Okay. Again, doesn't matter. These can be as random as you want. Okay. And it's just different veins. And there, we've got a wing. It's not exactly the same as this wing. In this one, if I take that bit off there, you know, this is about shaping your object and knowing what you think looks right in your picture. Your picture is going to be different to my picture, and so on and so forth. Kids will do it totally different. But eventually you will get some shapes that you think look good. Now we can get his leg in now, because his leg goes up there into the back of the wing. It comes out of the wing, so we can easily get that in. And it runs adjacent to this one. Out here, and then curves that way. And now all we've got to do now, somehow, is replicate that over here. So I'll go a bit quicker this time. You can do it again at your pace. We need to know how wide the wing is, so we don't want a wonky bee, otherwise it'll be flying in circles. So we're going to go from there, which is the width of it, to about there, which is about there. Okay. And I'm going to just now quickly, you could draw lines across for the top if you wanted. So it gives you an idea. Lines across the bottom gives you an idea. And follow them across. It is about, and I've said this every week, it's about making measurements, making shapes. And in time, you will get so used to making shapes and measurements that it's a bit like maths. As long as you can count to 10 and you can do 12 times table, you can probably do most maths. It's just how complicated you want to make it. Now, as I found, I don't like drawing on this side of a picture as much as I like drawing on the other side of a picture, which is an interesting revelation tonight. Okay, and I'm going to do that one into the body, this one. Okay, I'm going to give a couple of shout outs while I'm drawing. I want to say thank you to Laura and Katie, who've been doing lots of sharing of my work this week and listen to my podcast today. I really appreciate your support and helping to get the message out. We've got 600 plus subscribers, coming up to 600, I believe, which is amazing considering where we started. in the space of, this is the 4th class now to have, we're getting on average 150 a week to make 600. That's mental. But brilliant. So let's keep expanding that, keep sharing our artwork, and keep talking about the class, and let's keep giving us all the incentive to focus on something different during this very strange time. So that is how we draw that bee. Doesn't look like a bee now, right now, but that is where that is our starting point. I'm just gonna have a little cheeky drink. So now what we're going to do next is with a heavier pencil, if you've got a heavier pencil, if not, just go a bit firmer with your shading. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing this. I'm just going to give you the idea. Heavier pencil. So obviously now we're going at this sort of level instead of where we were before, which was this sort of level. Yeah, so that's the difference there. This one is H. This is 3B. That's the difference. With the same amount of pressure, you get a lot softer look. So very quickly, I'm going to try and break this down now. So you can do this with as rough as you want, or if you're happy with your outline, keep the drawing, and maybe you can take a bit more time over it. But this is how, in a very quick sense, we're going to try and this, you can even change the shape of it at this point as well. Don't be afraid to change anything. If it doesn't look right and you're not happy with it, then you change it. I'm just going to make the spines that are closer to the body a little bit firmer, and the same on this side, just to give it that bit of weight, because obviously the wings are literally like wafer thin, so you won't be able to see a lot, but you'll be able to see the spines. And as much as the wings are see-through, you want to have some idea of representing them like this. So I'm going to be very quick. I'm just going to go through here. You do how you think. And like I said before, go on Justin Eagleton. Justin_Eagleton is my Instagram. So I'm trying to get the followers up to try and build the community so I can share more things. So go on there, follow, give me a follow, and also share your masterpieces. If you don't do Instagram, why not? And if you do, then please do that if you can. But share on Facebook. It will all get to me. Like I say, the one who I think is the best, with the best story that goes with it, I will send a piece of artwork to in the next couple of days as a little reward for joining the class and for just getting really involved. So this is how we build it up now. I mean, this section here that joins the wings is pretty much black. So I'm going to do it really roughly, because I would spend a lot of time doing this, but I'm going to do it really roughly so I get an idea of what we're creating. I'm almost going to end up with a sketched bee. I'm going to just use, this is your artistic license now coming in. Okay, yep. We're going to build up this sort of furry stuff up here, because they are very furry. Okay, and this sort of follows around here. We're going to follow this furry stuff here. I'm going to make mine really fluffy bumblebee-esque. Okay. We'll add some of the lighter shades in a minute with a different pencil, because we have got another drawing to do in the second half. Sound like I'm talking about football, don't I? Okay, so this side, I'm guessing, is more shaded. This side here. Now, I've done a lot of bees. Obviously, I did the hacienda bee. Everybody, well, I guess a lot of people will know that. I painted some community bees. I've done all sorts of bees. I've got bees coming at me here, so I try to steer away from the bee a little bit more now. So we're going to go with this, which is this next sort of level of stripage. If that's a word. Okay. As you can see, I'm not putting lots of detail into it. I'm literally just getting the shapes, the shading in. And it's quite a good practice, actually. It's quite good to work on, you know, how do you want the shading to be? The shading is obviously what makes the object 3D, but it's about building shapes. Now, I'm going to try and get its legs in quickly, because I don't want to over egg it, so to speak. So he's got a bit of a, I'm going to call it a thigh bone. It looks like he used to be a little footballing bee. And then these are pretty fuzzy affair things going on. So I'm literally just going to do this. And I'm going to do the same on this side. Okay. Now I'm doing less Twitter this week, and I will happily tell everybody without going into too much detail. I was putting some out on Twitter the other day. There was abuse and usual toxicity that goes around Twitter. Seems to be a place where you're allowed to sort of say whatever you want. So I decided, for my own mental sanity, I couldn't be bothered. So took Twitter off my phone for a while, because I don't need it. So I am literally focusing on the positive platforms that I find, because it's not worth it. If they can abuse Captain Tom, then there's a strange world going on out there. So let's just be nice to everybody. Okay. Now this leg is a bit of a this and a bit of a fuzz. And this should end up now looking, it's getting a bit more like an illustration of a bee. But I just want everybody to see, you could spend hours making this beautiful, getting all the fur perfect. I'm going to give that a little bit of sheen there. Yeah. And I get his little things here. He's got a bit of fuzz at the front. Okay. Yeah. Body shape's not looking too bad. I'm going to put a few more veins on this side. Okay. What are we missing? Oh, I nearly missed the leg off. Another leg there. Again, bit of an organic shape. I'm just going to go illustrating wise there. Again, weird shape connected to another weird shape, and stuff coming out the other end. But as you can see, if I now go back to a H pencil, which is the very fine one, if I had time, we could then start blending this a lot better than, obviously I have doing it very quickly, you know, and then use your artistic license to just start popping a little bit of texture in that sort of gives the evocative feel of fur. If it's called fur, I don't know what it's called. And again, but I'm not doing anything accurate whatsoever. I'm literally just scribbling across the page, sometimes lifting off, sometimes not. But we'll end up with this little scribble, which is quite nice to have that freedom. You know, press on a little bit more, lift off, press on a bit more, lift off, a couple of dots here and there to give that idea. Bit of that. And I'm going to add now with this very light pencil, I'm just going to go in there and add a bit of this to the veins of this bit. And I'm going to rub out from there and this way and this way. Okay, so we are starting to get something that looks like a bee. And, you know, with a lot more time and a lot more detail and, you know, how much you want to spend on it, how much time you want to spend on it, you could do all the veins, you could do between the veins, you could lift off. Obviously, the weight of the wings doesn't need to be this heavy because they are almost see-through. So you could then get this, I've got a putty rubber, which instead of rubbing out and making lots of grains across your paper, it lifts the lead off the paper. So it's like blue tack, that type of thing. so it lifts off. So I'm just going to add a bit more of that, and I'm going to do something artistic. I'm going to just take a bit of the weight out the middle, and a bit of our weight out the middle of his nose, and a bit of weight out of there so it's not as shaded, and then right down to its tail. So literally drawing a line right down the middle of it. And that gives us then, if you look at that now, we've got almost a better 3D form, so to speak, because it's lighter in the middle, darker around these sort of areas. So that gives us a bee, a unique bee, my own bee. I'd like to see what yours look like. I say share afterwards, please. And let's see how all the bees have got on. So there is a bee. We're happy with that. We've got the shape. We started off with this, very simple shapes. We worked out all the dimensions, and then we ended up with something like this. We are going down more of the illustrative route, but it is giving you the idea of how you measure across the page. Now, what we're going to do next, try and move at a pace. I'll just have a little cheeky cheers to everybody. Good health and stay safe. Also, shout out tonight. I'd like to say last week we had viewers in Zimbabwe. So we had people doing the art class in Zimbabwe. I've got people doing the art class in Texas. So hi to all friends and family out there. And we've got people doing the art class in Australia. So madness. All over the country, all over the world. We are now a global brand. What can you do? It's only so many hours in a day. Like Rumpelstiltskin. So what we're going to do next, we're going to do something that, again, I've had requests for. I'm going to try and make it as simple as I possibly can. Can you guess what it is yet? It's going to be this beautiful looking dog. Now, somebody else has drawn this, not me. I just borrowed this for us to have a look at tonight. I'm going to leave it as close to the corner of the page there. You can make a start if you want. You can get on with it. Working out the shapes, working out the dimensions, working out where the eye is. But I'm going to show you very quickly. I've done some homework too. So let me just put a bit of tape on here so it doesn't move. Stay there, dog. See, who needs to do dog training when you've got sellotape? What we're going to do is, look, I'm going to break it down. Look, there. So if you did the drawing that way and built the grid up, you could work out exactly where everything was. You can work out the width of the eye. You can work out the top and bottom of the eye. You can work out top of the head. Where is it in relation to everything else? Where's the nose? Where's that little front curve? So this is a way you can break it down and test where your measurements are right. And my other bit of homework, which I've done, should be proud of, is that dog's head. People are looking at this the same as they looked at the eagle. People are going, there's no way I can draw that. But then if you look at that, if you take the dog out of it, I'm pretty sure everybody could draw. If I put that on the screen, yeah, I'm just making this up as I go along, trying to get close. If I put that on the screen, everybody would say, that's easy, isn't it? I could easily do that. That's not too bad. But then if you start adding in, this line comes right through the middle of the eye. So there's the middle of the eye. So the eye's somewhere in there. We don't have to be accurate. There's the head somewhere in there, and then you just do it that way. Work it out. That's the easiest way I would say to describe how to break down a picture. This might be intimidating. This won't be intimidating. So, or you can just sketch it exactly as you see it, and just, if it's right, it's right. And if it's your right, it's still right. Don't worry. Enjoy it. And right, here we go. I'm going to have a go at penciling this in. You can spend a bit more time on it. And I'm going to start. I'm going to use a HB because a lot of people will have a HB if you've not got a set of pencils. I'm going to do this how I want to do it right now, because we don't, like a driving test, you would never learn in all these ways. I'm going to try and get that angle of the head, because I think that's quite an important place to start. And just sketching over it like that, you can almost define. I'm going to try and do it. Where can I do it? I'm going to make sure I get his nose in. You know, let's just go with that. Very, very faint. Pencils on its side. Nothing accurate. Just where I feel the slope of that is. Now his nose is pretty much, it's not a mile off doing the same thing, to be honest. If I carried that on down there, yeah? So I'm going to just do this line, make that there, and I'm going to put another line in here, sort of doing the same thing like I have on my page there. There's a start. There's never in a million years that's going to end up looking like a dog. We'll see, we'll see. So I'm going to do this curve here because I know that connects the two lines. So again, let's go with that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's a start. Okay. There's another bit to our drawing. And I'm going to keep curving it over. And I'm going to bring it in a bit. And I'm going to, obviously I'm going slightly quicker than I ever would, and I apologize if, but I will leave it on screen so you can try and draw along. Now, his nose curves up to here. If he was to do a straight line, so maybe let's go with that, because that's something we can see and something we might be able to replicate. And we've got rubber. We're only doing light pencil. So if it's wrong, we can do it differently. We can build it back in. We can draw it differently. But, you know, I try to explain it in a way that, you know, does make it simple shape-wise. Now, what we need to do now is determine this measurement. So if I go up there, okay, and then I go up from his point of his nose, we need that distance. That's what we need, because we've already got the line. We can carry this on forever. We can go all the way down here. But we basically need there to there. So I'm going to use my pencil and get an ish. So put my thumb in there to the point. Thumb in there to the point. It's somewhere there. And I'm going to go with that for a starting point. So I'm going to curve it over. Again, no deal of accuracy. I'm just going to give it a bit of a curve because I know he's got a pretty rounded nose. The next thing we need is this angle. Okay, follow that down. So I'm going to go visually where I think that is. I'm going to carry it on down there. Yeah, still doesn't look like a dog, but we're giving it our best shot. Mine could end up looking like Pluto out of Mickey Mouse. I don't know. I'm doing the same as you. I'm going to go across his nose because I can sort of see that. And again, let's see whether we can build this shape up. I am doing it as visually as you can see. And it could go very wrong. Okay. But you will, as you put more things in, you will see what's wrong. At the minute, I'm just drawing what I can sense by looking at it. And we'll end up with something that I hope he says dramatically looks a bit like a dog. And if it looks a bit like a dog, we've achieved something. Okay. And that is a starting point. I'm happy with that. It's a starting point. It's not 100% right. I don't care. It's a dog. It's a starting point. Unless this dog's going to come and sit and model for you and stuff. So we've got this straight line that dissects right down the nose. So I'm going to put that in. I'm just going to carry it on down there as a faint line. So that is this. Yeah. And then this side comes from there. And that obviously follows that sort of path. Now we at the minute we are working in shapes. We're not making a form. We're not making the dog perfectly accurate. We're making a shape. So from there to there, I'm not going to measure it, but I'm going to guess from there to there is about the same as from the top of the nose to there. There to there to there. And that gives us somewhere there. And then this one goes almost down this way. Okay. Now let's have a look at what else we know then we know what's going where. So we know there's an eye in there. We know that that continues there, and there's not a lot of it you can see. Okay, you can't see much of this eye because it's behind this part of the nose. I think that's a little bit too severe. I think that's there. I'm going to give it a little eyelid. It seems to have a little eyelid on this side. I'm literally just sketched that in that bit. So at the minute, everything's flat and everything's straight, which obviously we're going to lose as we draw. Now, if we continue that line, I'm going to go all the way down here. We need to somehow get this. So I'm just going to do it visually. We could measure it, but I'm going to just sort of guess, which is not ideal because you will end up sometimes with a dog with a massive head or such like. So I'm going to sort of guess that just for time. Give it a bit of a mouth there. Its mouth is not right to the edge. Already I can sense something wrong, which I think is just, I suppose, experience of drawing, really. Okay, I'm going to do this under here, like this. Now this line, everything sort of follows the same sort of trajectory. So I'm going to just do something similar down there. Now the thing about this is his head's turning, so you've got all this curve, you know, this sort of motion. Okay, right, I'm going to go for, what's another thing that we can do? We'll cross from the bottom of the mouth. So we'll go across from the bottom of the mouth, sort of that direction. But look, I'm building shapes. I'm not, with any degree of accuracy, other than visual, you know, I'm doing this sort of thing. Obviously, we are going to add a lot of elements in a minute. That's going to give it a bit more oomph and a bit more 3D. But we're happy. We'll just go about it sketching. We'll sketch it in. That goes there, and then we're sort of slight curve taken out to there. Yep. Now, the critical part of this is obviously its other eye. So its other eye at the minute, I'm delaying until we've got other elements in that we can work out where it is. Because if I suddenly go, well, I can draw an eye, let's just go here. We'll call it there. Yeah, I can draw an eye. That's wrong. You know it's wrong. You can see it's wrong. But you don't know for sure, you know, exactly where it is. Is it this near? Is it near here? You know, this is, you've got to try and work out. You can do it just with your own sense, or you can measure a bit, or a bit of both. And at the minute, I'm going to do a bit of both. And that goes into there. And then this sort of goes from that angle there, goes to the point of the corner of the mouth, which is sort of there. So I'm going to go for that. Okay. Again, no detail as yet, but as you build it and as you shape it, I think his nose could be bigger. There's one thing possibly could happen. He's got a bit of thing going up there, just for a starting point. Now, because that line's in this section here, you can almost pick up and almost make that bit up there because that's a bit wider. And then this goes in and back out because that builds. And then this is where you can start to lose some of the sort of very obvious straight lines. You know, dog's head is not going to be that smooth. This line here, too straight. This line here, too straight. These are all very, very straight. But once you've got all these lines in and all your preparation, which might take you an hour or 2 hours if you're spending a load of time on it, once that's in, if it looks like the dog with no shading on, you've cracked it. You've got it. Now we've got to try and get to the earring. So I would say the easiest part for me for this would be go from the point of the nose to there. So that measurement from there, it's not easy when I'm doing it on screen, to there. If you've got the width of the head, is that. So if I go from the point of the nose to there, let me just, for instance, get another pencil and mark somewhere there. That's the width of his head, no matter what. His head can't be any wider than that. Okay, so that's that point of his ear. I'm calling it a he. I don't know if it is a he or a she. So I apologise to the dog in question. Right, now this curve we can also get, and then this. So this is where we've got to try and now start working out. So if we go from the point of the mouth, I'm going to curve that to there. So as if I was just following it down to there. Now we need the thickness of there to there. Let's say there. Okay. And now that we've sort of worked out where this element is, and then we can just follow this, which it must be wrong because we've now worked out the thickness of the head. So yeah, so there, then we can take it out to the width that we know is right. And then this goes right over here. Okay, I think I've got a measurement wrong because that is not right. There, point of the nose to there. What have I done wrong? To there. Yeah, so I was right. I was right with the width. So something's wrong up here. So I think I've gone too far. Yeah. But this is the organic thing about drawing. You can see me who can create all these amazing pieces of artwork, but this is how you go about it. You can't get it right first time. You can't be perfect. You just shape things and build things, and that's how you build up the accuracy. Okay, again, something slightly wrong. I think the point of it is wrong. Okay, that's better, I think. That's better. Okay. I think that's a bit better shape-wise. Shape-wise, it's not easy doing it with two cameras. I'm confusing myself by looking at wrong cameras. And then across there is a little bit more shallow. So I think it's more that. Okay, so let's go from the top corner up here. Speed things up a bit. Soft curve. We know that's right. We know that falls in line with that. Okay. Okay, and then I'm just going to wangle his ear in. I think he's a bit wider than that. Is it a bit wider than that? Just got that bit in there. But I think we're getting there. I think it's starting to build slowly. You've obviously had it on screen, so you might end up with a better dog than me. Okay. I think it's more. I think it's more that. Yeah, but you can see now he's starting to get a shape that looks certainly a lot more like a dog. When you shade it, you will get, again, a lot more form. This is all shaded under here. This is all shaded under here. The back of his neck shaded. We should now be able to get the eye in. So the eye, if we did a straight line from his underneath to sort of here, top of the eye sort of goes above there, but it gives you a bit more of an accurate idea. And then we should be then able to start to give the impression of this eye. Yeah, without putting any detail in it whatsoever. because you need it to be right before you can start adding all your heavy texture. I'm just going to shade that in there just to give me an idea of whether it's in the sort of right position. I think it's too far one way, so don't be too precious. Get rid of it if it's not right. I think it's too far that way. And then I'm going to change the ear shape, and that will almost bring it back to some semblance of order. Got that slope. I think that's going to be closer. I think that's closer. But then look at this. This gap here from here to the side of the ear is wrong. So again, don't worry about doing that. You know, when I do a portrait, I could spend the majority of the time will be spent in this process, getting this sort of level of accuracy. But we're not a mile away now. We are getting to something that is much more accurate. There's more shape in here. But it's like modeling clay. It's quite a nice process to work out where everything is. It's quite methodical. You can bet your life everybody who's done the class tonight has been thinking about, well, that's not right. I need to shade that. I need to move that. You know, as long as it gives you a bit of release and a bit of interest for something different. Like I say, put it on Instagram later, put it on Facebook, Justin_Eagleton, and let's start to share our artwork, get some more subscribers. I'm just going to pick up quickly a 6B, which is a heavy pencil, and I'm going to very roughly shade this very quickly and try and build a little bit more shape into it in sort of the last 5 minutes, just to give you an idea of where I would shade. You know, if all this was right, we can then give it a bit more body. Obviously, we can spend a lot of time doing this, but the whole point of this class is not perfect shading. The whole point of this class is teaching people how to pull shapes together, how to get the confidence to draw, and how to just have a little moment to themselves, basically, in a week and in a time where we all need a moment to ourselves. If you need something to go to sleep to, go to listen to my podcast and hear me going on. Right, so shading wise, obviously there's the dog shape in here. I'm expecting all you to have better drawings than me by the end of this. It's got a bit of a thing there. I'm going to pick up a bit of his eye very, very quickly. Do a shot on it. Okay. Good. But if you, with a lot more time and getting this nice and super accurate, you could spend so much time getting it perfect that then you've got the easy bit. I find the easier bit is once it's all in place, is doing the shading. For me. Okay. You can't see much of this eye over here, so I'm just going to suggest it. Obviously, it's got a bit of shading up there. Part of his nose. Here. It's black at the top of his nostril. Black at the bottom of its nostril. Is its nostril big enough? I don't know. But hopefully everybody's appreciating. We are getting somewhere with the classes. Hope you're enjoying it. I still enjoy doing it, and it's lovely to get all the feedback and the nice messages and keeping all the positive vibes going, because, you know, there's a time when we all need a little bit of support right now. Okay, so I'm hoping this is starting to look a little bit dog-like. The speed of my shading. All this under is very dark, which then will make the bit above pop out. I'm going to shade that, pretty much shade that fully black. I'm just going to leave that edge. Yeah. And obviously this is where your artistic license comes in. You can literally just, if you leave that edge there, a nice light edge against the dark edge. You can start building that up. Under here, I've got again almost black. Oh, my pencil's going to go. Okay, and then a bit of that, and then you've got. It was good actually. I've been sent. Got sent a picture of a giraffe today, which was quite cool. Somebody had done my class this week. Didn't have time to do it at the time, and it then, you know, they enjoyed doing it, but they enjoyed doing something totally different. So instead of doing the original what I did, they decided to do another thing, which is well cool. Right, as you can see now, I am literally just adding crazy shading in just to give a bit of an idea, but you'll get more of an idea with yourself. The main thing is that we get the shape of the dog ears in, and as we have time, we can then start to build the shading up. If he was doing his ear, all the shading would follow the shape of his ear. So it would all follow this line and follow this and then out. That's how you need to think. It is a shape once you get to that point. So we're coming sort of the end of the class. I could go on. I am a bit meticulous. I'm trying not to be. So I'm trying to make it as easy and as accessible for everybody. So if you have got a dog or a pet, go and try and draw that, get a picture on your phone, etc., or on your parents' phone, and try and draw your pet. But send me your pictures. So this is this, and where we started to get to this was the journey of creating these shapes and building it up bit by bit. And hopefully that's give you a good idea of how to go about it and how to build something from nothing, basically. So we're coming to an end of class 4. Wow, class 4. It's been great again. It's always a challenge. It's tiring for me because I'm like full on trying to just make some shapes and get things and that everybody can understand. So I appreciate everybody who comes on and supports me online, offline, etc. And I hope you're all supporting each other through this. We will get to the other side, and we will all meet at some stage in the summer, I hope. We'll do some sort of, maybe we'll all meet in a big community centre somewhere and do like a live drawing thing. But in the meantime, if you look out for my Hacienda work tomorrow, that would be great. Spread the word, see if people can go and have a look at that. Look out for my top 15 art pieces that we're going to put on towards the end of the month, maybe the last Friday of the month, the charity thing. And go to my Instagram, share your artwork, share your photos. And I hope you all enjoyed the class tonight. Stay in touch, send me some messages. I will share on my story. Have a look at the YouTube. Keep sharing the love. And I will see you all in 7 days' time. And if you get bored, listen to my podcast. It's like a whole promo campaign. Take care of yourselves and each other and stay safe for another week. Much love to everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.